it's your responsibility to know the needs of your children. If the school calls and they call you because there's a need with your child, you go, oh, I don't know, call my wife. You're not leading your wife in that area.
Yeah.
You should know, right? If your children need to be, if the laundry for your kids needs to be put away, you should know what drawer it goes into.
That's good.
I'm not saying that you need to be a kept husband to know those things, but as the leader of your house, you need to know the order and the placement of everything in your home, and you're held responsible for it.
That's good.
Polarity is a huge thing, and to not only just to maintain it, but continue to lead in that, create safety and security for our wives. That's and good. Again, it's one of the things that makes men. We talked about blades the other day on a previous podcast. You can check it out if you want to hear to it, but as part of sharpening your blade is keeping your polarity. So I'm over a decade in. Some people would call me an ape. That's completely up to you. I think it's kind of sexy. I want to be a gorilla in my next life. But just went on a date night this past week, and we came out after our date night. It was a highly active date night. We broke a sweat. We come out of the gas station. We stopped in for some water and Gatorade, and there happened to be a guy outside who is, I'll just say it this way, guy outside who was just peeing in the parking lot. I saw it before my wife did, and I quickly ushered her to the side because she doesn't deserve to be exposed to stuff like that. Sure. I put her in the car, and I turned around and gave the guy a piece of my business because clearly his father didn't teach him the lesson that he needed to know, that that's not allowed, especially outside of a convenience store that has a bathroom inside. A couple other guys hop out of the truck, I think, to back up their dude. And I was ready to go at it with him simply because I'll be a father in any scenario that needs a father. And that guy needed a father. Now, it didn't turn into anything physical, which I would have been completely open to had it. A little 3-on-1 to be nice in my life right now. But that's a piece of masculinity because I saw something that my wife does not need to be exposed to.
And you filled it.
I filled it in a very masculine way that's very protective. So it's one way out of thousands that a man can show up, but you need to show up that way consistently in your pursuit and romance of her and being present with her, with y'all's children. She doesn't need to be the only tender one who spends time with the children. It's got to come from you as well. And how you deal with your families. If you're married, there are typically 2 sets of parents, if they're still alive, that you're dealing with.
Boundaries.
And so having boundaries in place to create a core family for you without external influences controlling and dictating what you do in your family. So many, many things we could talk about on this, but polarity is huge. And being the masculine leader in these areas is what's going to make your wife feel a little more turned on to give you the things that you want in your life. And you know what I'm talking about.
I love that. And you know, the action behind polarity lives inside of the men you surround yourself with. And so when you think about being a masculine, high value man, no one just gets there accidentally. This means you're surrounding yourself, just as the proverb says, iron sharpens iron, putting yourself inside of a brotherhood where you're challenged, you're sharpened, people will beat you into shape because you're just not getting it. At the end of the day, a great man becomes a great man when he spends time with great men. That is just the piece of it. So if you think you can lone wolf it in your relationship, your dynamic, you're going to have a great marriage just by you and your wife doing it together, it's simply a fallacy. It's not going to happen.
You're lying to yourself.
You need to spend time with high value men on a consistent, regular basis. Get the feedback, challenge yourself, have healthy competition. Men build better men. And if you expect to be the great man in your relationship for your wife, for your kids, you got to be in a tribe of other men.
Yes. Done. Mic drop.
Boom. Recap on this. The 4 disciplines of a high value marriage. First and foremost is vision. The vision points the way. Without a vision, the people perish. And you are now responsible for not only yourself, but you're responsible for stewarding the feminine, your wife, and your kids. Second discipline, communication. Sent. I love this. Sent does not mean received. Just because you say something, you have to expect that there's going to be something lost in translation. There is, because men and women receive things very differently. Even in your dynamic with your male friends, whether one of you is inferential or literal, communicate, over-communicate, over-communicate, over-communicate.
Yes. Or for some men, just start to, you like I tell my 5-year-old, use your words.
Use your words.
Quit assuming. Use your words.
So good.
Over-communicate.
So good. Third discipline of a high-value marriage is pursuit. Do what you did in the beginning and now do it 10 times better. Because you are more seasoned, you got more time, you got more effort, more energy. We've talked about this in previous episodes, but having that healthy emotional attachment, that's the wind behind your sails. So you can take on the domain of work and the marketplace, but don't stop making the main thing the main thing. Continue to pursue your wife, your woman, with the same effort and energy and vitality and passion that you did in the beginning.
Yep.
And the fourth discipline of a high-value marriage is polarity. Don't be a wimp. Be a high-value man.
Yeah.
Lead well, have vision, communicate, pursue, and put yourself inside of a tribe of other men that will challenge you, confront you, and help you be the best version of yourself.
Yep.